Hello and welcome to our 4-H orientation video. This presentation is to help you understand the basics of the 4-H program in Baker County. To get started, I'd like to share a little bit about myself. My name's Shayna Spann. I'm the 4-H Youth Development Agent here in Baker County, and I've been here since 2011. I have both a bachelor's and master's degree in agricultural education from the University of Florida, and some activities that I specialize in within my job are embryology and STEM activities. With this 4-H position, I am 60% state and 40% county. So what that means is I have duties from the state that I follow and duties from the county that I follow. And a little bit about myself, I joined 4-H when I was in 3rd grade because I hatched chicks in the classroom, and I was in 4-H throughout high school and worked at the 4-H summer camping program for 2 years, and it's all I've ever wanted to do since I was in 7th grade.
I am married to my husband Adam, and we have 2 boys, Daniel and David.
4-H is for everyone. The big thing with how 4-H works is it is directed by the 4-H agent and led by the volunteers, who are not paid employees. They give their time to make the programs in Baker County happen. The membership fee is split halfway between the county and halfway between the state. I wanted to share a little bit about how the structure of Florida 4-H is. So you guys are all familiar with our county community clubs, and that's the first step. But once kids reach a certain age, they can join what's called county council, which is a delegation of youth selected from their clubs that represent their clubs in a similar style club meeting. From there, county council elects delegates to represent the county at district council, which is a combination of counties in the surrounding areas. Our district is 4-H District 5, which is Alachua, Baker, Bradford, Union, and Columbia. So when we have things like district events, that's all 5 of our counties coming together. Next, district council appoints some delegates or representatives to serve on the 4-H executive board to represent that district. And that group works with the Florida 4-H State Council, which is our elected 4-H officers for the state. And they plan all of our youth events that are throughout the state during the 4-H year. So 4-H legislature is planned by youth, 4-H university is planned by youth, 4-H intermediate state is planned by youth. So this really is a youth-driven program, which is an amazing opportunity for our kids to have that they may not get elsewhere. Next, we have use of the 4-H emblem and name. There are rules that go along with using the 4-H emblem or logo and the name. We want to make sure that it looks right and that it's not put on something improperly. So you have examples here of good, where we have the 18 USC 707 on there, which proves it is a United States protected logo. And then we have the name of the club underneath the clover, not over top of the clover. We want to make sure that we use it properly and that the name 4-H is 4-H, not 4-H, not 4 lowercase h. The dash is required. Now, should you want to put that on something, which we always want to, you want to make sure that you get my permission to use it, because I don't want you to use it improperly, and I have the appropriate files and know of locations that I've already given permission to make those items. Several years ago, there was a study done by Tufts University that looked at children in different youth organizations for a period of time. And this is where we saw that there was a true benefit to youth being part of 4-H clubs. The study showed that members were 4 times more likely to make contributions to their communities, 2 times more likely to be civically active, 2 times more likely to make healthier choices, and 2 times more likely to participate in STEM programs outside of school time. Additionally, girls involved with 4-H were 2 times more likely in 10th grade and 3 times more likely in 12th grade to take part in science programs compared to girls in out-of-school activities. You're probably wondering, well, what are some ways that my child can benefit from 4 H in our local community? Well, we have Camp Cherry Lake, which is a residential camp that kids ages 8 and up can go spend the week away from home. We host local day camps here at the Extension office. There is a hog and ham program where youth actually raise and will get a chance to harvest their own pig after a period of time. We have the Area B and State Horse Show where you can compete with your horse doing different events. There are judging teams. There's livestock judging, poultry judging, vegetable judging. There's something called an insectathon where kids learn about bugs. There's so many different judging teams. Anything that your kid is interested in, we probably have a judging team for it. There are state events, like I've mentioned previously, with 4-H legislature, 4-H university, 4-H intermediate state. Those are all events hosted by the state. And then lastly, we have each day at the Capitol, and we try to send a delegation every year to the Capitol to represent our 4-H program so that we can meet our representatives. The next few slides are about our annual 4-H calendar. I put together many of the events that happen throughout the year so that you can have a better idea of when to expect things happening. So, for example, we know that the 4-H year begins September 1st. And when the beginning of the year, we're going to have the 4-H kickoff. Then we have our fair, and many other things follow through. And then in December, we look for our holiday bake-off. And then through February is the Florida State Fair. Next, we would have county events, and after county events would be district events. And then we're getting ready for our summer. So in summer, we have summer camps. There's 4-H legislature, 4-H university. We have our awards program at the end of the summer, and then it's time to start all over again. Now that we have an idea about when things happen in 4-H, how are you going to keep up with it? Well, we have our newsletter, which is emailed out every month. We have our website that you can visit at any time, and we have a Facebook page. Within our Facebook page, we have individualized groups for our clubs. Additionally, here are the ways that you can contact the 4-H office or staff within our office. Our phone number is 904-259-3520. That's during office hours, Monday through Friday. If there is an emergency that happens at a club meeting, that club leader will contact me. We also have the 4-H online system that you enroll in has an email system, and we send out notifications with those newsletters through that system. So we want you to be sure and check those emails to stay up to date on information in case anything changes. If you're not receiving the emails, be sure to check your spam folder. As always, you are welcome to email me anytime. However, I will respond during business hours. If you happen to get my personal phone number, remember it is my personal number and that it's purely for transportation purposes. I do ask that you do not message me on Facebook or text because everything is public record. Next is our Cloverpoint system. Points are earned by participating in events throughout the 4-H year. Keeping track of everything that you participate in helps when your youth are senior 4-H members applying for scholarships. Members are responsible for keeping up with the events that they attend on these sheets. It's super important to sign in at every meeting and activity. In the event you forget to write the activity down. You can always call, and I can confirm whether or not you attended. We do keep those sign-in sheets for that purpose. Here is a copy of the Cloverpoint's form. You can see the list of the various activities and events that youth can participate in throughout the 4-H year. This is by no means an all-encompassing list because there's always different things happening, and if youth participate in different things, we can assign a point value to those at any time. Just email me, call, and we'll get it sorted. This next portion of the orientation is for livestock animal participants. We will go over the basics of showing livestock animals in Baker County 4-H. What are the benefits of 4-H projects? What do kids learn when they do these projects? Well, they learn soft skills and hard skills. And with these projects, we're creating opportunities for them to have success, whether it be a sewing machine, a steer, a bow and arrow, or garden. All of these projects are opportunities for our youth to have success and learn skills. There are two types of livestock projects, the first being market and the second being exhibit. Market animals are sold and exhibit animals are only shown. For example, if you take your rabbit to the fair, you would show it in the rabbit show, and at the end of the fair, you would take it home. If you show a pig at the fair, you would not take it home at the end of the week. It would go to slaughter, and then the meat would go to the buyer. Within market projects, there are also two types. The first are steer and swine projects, which are considered terminal. Terminal means that the animal will be slaughtered and sold for consumption. We also have a pullet project, which are laying hens that lay eggs, and they will be sold to buyers to take home to lay eggs for them. Pullets can be exhibited at the Baker County Fair, and then they can be sold at the Greater Jacksonville Fair. Not only can you exhibit animals at the fair like beef breeding, goats, rabbits, and poultry, but you can also exhibit plants, baked goods, participate in the table setting competition, exhibit sewing items, knitting and crochet items, arts, and any other crafts that you make throughout the year. If you decide to exhibit plants or animals at the fair, please remember that ownership needs to be at least 3 months prior to the fair. While doing the project, we want to remember to be ethical. That means we always want to treat our animals with care. We want to make sure that they have fresh food and water, shade and shelter from the elements, and be in good condition when we take them to the fair. In addition, while we're at the fair, we need to treat our animals special. Not everyone understands what we do when we show animals, and we want it to look like we are treating them nicely so that it doesn't appear that we are mistreating them.
We do have requirements to show an animal in 4-H. The first is completing the project report, which is available for all ages. It is due the Friday after the close of the fair. Next, the livestock animal commitment forms are due May 13th via email or in person. You also need to be enrolled in 4-H and that specific 4-H project by April 30th. Next, you will need to earn the minimum amount of Clover points. Clover points are tabulated throughout the 4-H year. Don't forget, the 4-H year begins September 1st, and all youth exhibiting animals at the fair must be enrolled to be covered by 4-H insurance in the event something happens. And lastly, attendance to 75% of club meetings March through August. To make up a missed meeting, youth can complete 3 activities on the Livestock website.
There are requirements for youth who are showing market animals, and those are to attend the fair board's required meetings. You want to send out buyer's letters to at least 3 people inviting them to the sale. The more you invite, the better it will be. Then you want to attend the weigh-ins. There is a mandatory weigh-in that's typically in late May or early June, and the final weigh-in is Friday for some species and Sundays for swine. I'll explain more in the next slide. There is a separate record book that the fair requires, and you would submit that book the Monday of the fair to the fair board. This is available on the fair's website. On Friday, typically from 3 to 6 p.m., those times do shift a little bit from year to year. Rabbits, goats, poultry, steers, beef breeding, and then swine for the open swine show are checked in and weighed. On Sunday, swine that are not participating in the open show are weighed in. There will be Florida Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services inspectors there, and they are the ones that do the blood test on the chickens, and they're checking animal soundness to make sure that they're healthy and able to be at the fair and will not infect other animals with any diseases. During the week of the fair, I want you to remember the 3 R's. Responsibilities, respect, and relationships. We're there and we want to work together, and I want everyone to have a good experience. So if you see someone that needs help, be sure and lend a helping hand. In addition, I want you to make sure that you label all of your belongings. Inevitably, something goes missing. Should we find it, we want to know who to return it to. Now, what should you expect during the week of the fair? Well, if you're going to show your animal, you want to be prepared for the show. You're going to need your 4-H attire, which is a white collared shirt, dark jeans, could be black or dark blue, and a 4-H clover patch to represent the 4-H program here in Baker County. If you don't wear a 4-H clover, you're not representing the 4-H program. We also want to stay around the arena to be able to support our fellow club members and FFA members while showing their animals, just like you want people to see you while you're showing yours. Next, for those showing market animals, you want to be prepared for the sale. You're going to need your 4-H attire for this as well, and a thank you gift or basket for your buyer. You don't have to go out and spend a ton of money on something to say thank you. You've already spent quite a bit of money on your project. A nice basket or even a mum can be very nice to say thank you to the person that came out to support you. A few weeks after the fair board will send the list of buyers and add-ons you received to me. I will then email the lists out. This list is who you should write thank you letters to. Be sure when you write your thank you letters to address them, have them stamped, have your address as the return address, and do not seal them so that we can check them when they're turned in. If they are not satisfactory, I will call and have your parents come pick them up and you can redo them. Additionally, if you do not have your thank you letters turned in by a certain date, the fair board will then forfeit amounts of your money from your check. This money is used for scholarships every year for graduating seniors. As always, 4-H needs volunteers. That doesn't mean you have to be a club leader. You can always just lend a hand in the various different things that 4-H does. For example, you could help judge events, you could help set up for events, or lend a hand in the office. This concludes our 4-H and livestock animal orientation presentation. Should you have any questions, feel free to email me at slbennett@ufl.edu.